2 years ago, he was at Penn State. But now, Jeff Hostetler is the quarterback for West Virginia University. Throughout the regular season, he made the big play, like this link-up with wide receiver Rich Hollins, who averaged 27 yards per reception. Another big reason for the Mountaineers' 9-2 season is Darryl Talley, a consensus All-America picket linebacker. At 6'4", 225 pounds with great speed, he's already being compared with the Giants' Lawrence Taylor and spearheads the 11th best defensive unit in the country. Tonight, that defense will have its hands full in the Gator Bowl as West Virginia faces Florida State and tailback Greg Allen. Allen is just a sophomore who shares playing time with senior Ricky Williams. And one thing he knows is how to get into the end zone. He scored 1 touchdown through the air this year on this reception against East Carolina and scored 20 more on the ground to lead the nation with 126 points. As a team, Florida State is second in the country in scoring. The Mountaineers and the Seminoles tonight. ABC Sports presents live from Jacksonville, Florida, the 1982 Gator Bowl. The Mountaineers of West Virginia against the Seminoles of Florida State. And in a driving rain, the headlights as the crowd files into the newly expanded and renovated Gator Bowl in Jacksonville, which now holds 80,000. And tonight's game, the 38th edition of the Gator Bowl, is sold out. West Virginia taking on Florida State. And this ABC Sports exclusive is brought to you by light beer from Miller. Everything you've always wanted in a beer and less. By your Bell Phone Center. It's ingenious. It's genuine Bell. It's at your Bell Phone Center. By Merrill Lynch, whose ability to guide you through the intricacies of investing makes them a breed apart. And by Chevrolet. Chevrolet is USA 1, and USA 1 is taking charge. It has been raining off and on all day in Jacksonville. A cold front passed through yesterday. 51 degrees, our game time temperature. We were in the 70s here yesterday and in the 80s Monday. The wind out of the northwest gusting at 15 miles per hour. The forecast, more rain. And right now, as you look around, the field is in decent shape. But West Virginia coming out onto the field right now figures to benefit if it continues to rain. The Mountaineers, an independent team, started the year with a big upset victory over Oklahoma in Norman. Then they beat Maryland, and Maryland went to the Aloha Bowl. They were 3-0 going into the Pitt game, led Pitt 13-0 with 11 minutes to go, and then Pitt came from behind to win. Their only other loss was to Penn State, a team that will be playing for the national championship in 2 days. 24-0 was the final there. Then West Virginia won its last 4 to finish with a mark of 9 wins and 2 losses. And here come the Seminoles of Florida State. It's an easy trip for Florida State. Tallahassee is just 166 miles from Jacksonville. So most of the folks here tonight will be rooting for Florida State, which began its season with a victory over Cincinnati. They lost to Pitt. This was a team a lot of people thought would finish at about 500 this season, but as you can see, they reeled off 7 consecutive victories. At one point this season, they had a mark of 8-1, and it looked like they might be going to the Orange Bowl, but they lost to LSU in a game in which the Tigers wound up going to Miami. The Seminoles came here, and then they closed their season with a loss to Florida in the big intra-state rivalry, 13-10. Welcome to Jacksonville, everybody. I'm Al Michaels. This is by no means the most glamorous of the postseason bowl games. Neither team has a remote shot at a national championship, but we think it is one of the more interesting matchups because it is very hard to figure. These two teams have never met each other before, and it's a great contrast in style. As far as Florida State is concerned, they are offensively oriented. It is a team that not only scores a lot, piles up a lot of yardage, but they love the big play. Bobby Bowden, the head coach, freely admits we look for a touchdown on almost every play when most teams are just looking for first downs. Gadgets galore, reverses, fake reverses, double reverses, Statue of Liberty, handoff, throw back to the quarterback, you name it, it's in their playbook. West Virginia got here basically on the strength of its defense. 11th in the nation, also a great kicking game. Paul Woodside set an NCAA mark with 28 field goals this season. Offensively, can they score enough points to win? Let's find out from Lee Grosscup. 25 years ago, the All-American quarterback at Utah. Happy silver anniversary.
Thank you.
Can the Mountaineers score enough points to win this game?
Well, they have the man at quarterback to do it. Jeff Hostetler is a guy who stepped in this year for Oliver Luck, and he really took charge for them. Along the way, he managed to throw for about 10 touchdowns, over 1,800 yards. He ran 4 more in himself. And so he is going to be the guy who's going to be leading their offense. As you mentioned, defensively they've been strong. They have a linebacker named Darryl Talley, who some of the pro scouts feel will go in the first round. Might be the first linebacker taken in the pro draft this year. He's out of the mold of Hugh Green and Lawrence Taylor, and he really plays wall-to-wall linebacker.
Well, Hostetler is the main man offensively for West Virginia. A completely different situation at Florida State. They're starting a quarterback who hasn't started the game since September.
Well, they really have a quarterback tandem. They have Blair Williams, who'll be starting tonight. Kelly Lowry is the other half of that tandem. And really, whoever has the hot hand tonight is going to be the quarterback who will take charge for them. Now, at tailback, it's well established. They have a tandem. As you mentioned earlier, Greg Allen is leading the country in scoring. He's a sophomore with really superstar potential. And Ricky Williams is the senior. He's more mature. He's more dependable. He's an inside-outside runner. They also use him on draws and misdirection plays.
The horse is Renegade, and there is the Florida State mascot planting the spear, as is customary before each Seminole game. At midfield, 80,000 looking on at the Gator Bowl. Florida State is a slight favorite. The Mountaineers and the Seminoles coming up from Jacksonville will have the kickoff right after this. Florida State will kick off. West Virginia winning the toss. They'll receive. Mike Rendina, who has kicked sparingly this season. He lost his job after an early season injury, gets to kick off in the Gator Bowl, and Willie Drury comes out from the 5, past the 20, and Drury still on his feet at the 29 and stopped at the 30-yard line. All right, Jeff Hostetler, who transferred from Penn State, sat out last year, had a fine season. Mickey Walzak, the fullback, he was the MVP in the Peach Bowl last year. Tom Gray is just a freshman. He starts at tailback. They have Wayne Brown starting at one wide receiver spot. The big play man, Rich Hollins, at the other. But Don Nealon, the West Virginia coach, said, I have 5 guys. You can put them into a dice cup and shake them all out. They're about even in ability at wide receiver. First down, West Virginia from the 30-yard line. On the first play from scrimmage, number 32, Tommy Gray, out for a gain of 2. Brian Joswiak is a sophomore. Scott Barrows is a sophomore, a young left side of the line. Then you've got senior Dave Johnson starting at center. Andre Gist had arthroscopic knee surgery in November. He's back. And Kurt Keel is perhaps their best offensive lineman, number 71. The tight end was Mark Rao. Last year, Rao, a sensational season. This year, not as many catches, but still he's gotten the job done. On second down and 7, Hostetler rolling and throwing, and he finds the tight end, Rao, who takes it to the 49-yard line. Rao caught 32 this season. Last year, he caught 64. Basically, they've been double-teaming him a lot this year, but he gets open here.
Mark Rao, as you mentioned, now caught 61 during the regular season last year. He's running a simple out pattern here. Hostetler, after a little play action in the backfield, throws it out to him. The coverage there by Pat Milligan, number 19, and he spins away, shows the extra effort and the good athletic ability that he has.
On first down from the 49-yard line, this is Gray, who takes it across the 50. Gray to the Florida State 48-yard line for a gain of 3. West Virginia with a very mediocre running game. Let's take a look at the defensive line with McLean. Carricker is the man to watch, 76. Ponder in the middle, Foytek and Jacks on the outside. Prince Matt and Ken Rowe are the linebackers. Clayton is probably the best of that foursome, number 24. Second down, 7. West Virginia at the Florida State 48-yard line. Walzak inside the 45 to the 44-yard line. It'll be third down and 3. West Virginia, a lot of problems offensively this season on the ground. None of their backs gained more than 350 yards all season. Now, when you put that into perspective, think about somebody like Herschel Walker, who's liable to pick up 350 yards in 2 weeks. None of the Mountaineer backs was able to eclipse that figure all year long. They're still trying to find a breakaway threat. They think Gray might be the guy. He's just a freshman. Third and a long 2. And it's Gray getting inside the 40. Stutter stepping. Moves to the outside of the 35 and gets to the 32-yard line where Harvey Clayton makes the tackle.
Good call. There you are.
They've been looking for that all year, that type of run.
That's the tailback that they've been looking for. Al Michaels just said it. And it's the simplest play out of the I formation, the tailback blast or isolation play. It's really like hunting and pecking. And Harvey Clayton, the cornerback for Florida State, comes up and ultimately makes the tackle on Gray near the sideline.
So the Mountaineers on the move at the 32-yard line. With Brown going in motion, Hostetler on a straight drop, protection, hits Rao, he makes the second catch, and Rao gets to the 20 but fumbles the ball. And wait for the officials to call it. Obviously Florida State thinks they have it, but it looks like the play was whistled dead. That will be the case. It was John McLean who came up with the football, but after the play had been whistled dead. So Rao with the catch and a first down at the 21.
Simple look-in pass to the tight end. Mark Rao, number 85, reaches up high to catch that ball. Now watch this. Here's the collision, and to me that looks like a fumble, Al. That, to me, does not look like he was down before he fumbled the ball. Pat Milligan, number 19, once again getting the hit that tore the ball loose.
I don't think there's any doubt about it. First big break of the game to West Virginia because they keep possession at the 21-yard line with Brown in motion again. It's the first man through, Walzak, who gets to the 19. We were talking about the lack of an explosive tailback. Also, West Virginia has a couple of guys who alternated fullback in Wolfley and Walzak, who are really more tailbacks than fullbacks, at least of that size and speed.
One more look. It looks to me like the ball leaves his hands before he hits the ground. Look at that right there. To me, that is clearly a fumble.
But it wasn't called, and it's second down and 8. Hostetler faking, throwing over the middle, too high. The one-hand attempt by Darrell Miller. Incomplete. Pat Milligan covering on the play. 3rd and 8 upcoming.
Pat Milligan's busy back there.
Hostetler at Penn State in 1980 lost his job to Todd Blackledge. Didn't want to sit on the bench. So he transferred to Morgantown. Sat out last season. He had to under the rules. And this year, he's done a great job for West Virginia. Just a junior, 1 more year remaining. Thinking about applying for a Rhodes Scholarship. 3rd down and 8. Hostetler throwing and incomplete at the 5-yard line, intended for Mark Rao. Rao had position but had to jump. Again, they were picking on Milligan, who had help from McCrary. So it's 4th down, and here's where the game could be won. Right now, take a look at the replay.
Mark Rao, normally a tight end, is flexed out to the left this time. The ball is a catchable ball. However, bear in mind, it has been raining and is raining now. It is very slick down there, and it looks like the rain is going to continue throughout the evening. Last year, I remember listening to you and Ara Parzighi, and you had fog here last year. You couldn't even see the field.
Best game nobody ever saw. Started to say this is where this game might be won tonight, the kicking game. West Virginia with a great kicking game. This is Woodside, but he has it blocked. And Florida State will come up with the football near midfield. So Woodside, who set an NCAA record with 28 field goals this season, he was 28 out of 31, has it blocked by Alfonso Carricker.
Alfonso Carricker, probably the busiest man along the defensive line for Florida State. A guy who made a lot of tackles and a lot of sacks throughout the year, a lot of big plays for them. Came to Florida State thinking he was going to be a tight end, had been a basketball player in high school, and now has become the best of their down linemen. Big play for Carricker.
And he's going to take that ball home with him. So the first big surprise of the night is Carricker blocks the field goal attempt by Woodside. 10:37 to go in the first with no score at the Gator Bowl. So a 15-yard personal foul penalty was tacked on to West Virginia. Florida State has completed a pass for a first down from the 35 to the 25. And it's 1st and 10 from the 25-yard line as Ken Burnett, the fullback, is stopped there. Darryl Talley making the tackle. Now, Blair Williams starts at quarterback. Kelly Lowry had been the starter for 9 games. Burnett, who carried the ball on the last play. You've got Ricky Williams, who'll be alternating with Greg Allen at tailback. Jesse Hester is very quick, just a sophomore. And on the other side is the freshman Hassan Jones. Second down, 10. Florida State at the West Virginia 25-yard line. Williams, who has a very strong arm, throwing over the middle. It's tipped and incomplete, intended for Tony Johnson through his hands. Hassan Jones was there backing up and nearly came up with a catch.
Hassan nearly got a touchdown in back of him there.
It's a gift.
Had he been about 3 yards closer to the football, he would have caught it.
The offensive line, Jim Thompson is a sophomore. This is a young line and not particularly big. Ricky Render, 6'4", 250. McCormick is 6'2" and 230 pounds. Jamie Dukes is big. He's 6'1" and 270. Out of the shotgun. Rolling to his left. And Williams out of bounds at the 21-yard line. Run out there by Reggie Armstead.
That is the first shotgun play of the year for Florida State. They put it in specifically for the Gator Bowl.
It is 4th down at the 23-yard line. So Rendina, who was hurt, lost his job to Phil Hall, comes in. He has attempted 2 field goals during the regular season, both long attempts. This one from the 30-yard line, so it's a 40-yard attempt, and it will be no good. Wide to the right and a little short, and so both teams attempt field goals, come up empty. And West Virginia will get it back. We played 5 minutes and 41 seconds in the Gator Bowl. No score.
I once rolled a log off a 100-foot waterfall, came up standing.
Bowden is the head coach at Florida State. His record reflected there. And prior to going to Tallahassee, Bowden coached at West Virginia. His opposite number, Don Nealon, in his 3rd year with the Mountaineers. Before that, he'd been an assistant at Michigan and the head coach at Bowling Green. This is Gray starting this series. And he is buried at the 22-yard line. A loss of 1. Ken Rowe, the linebacker, number 38, making the stop. Interesting, Florida State lost its last 2 games, Lee, and so Bobby Bowden has done some juggling and shifting. He changed his quarterback, and he also took his leading tackler out, Tommy Young, and made him second team.
Bobby said that Young had a tendency to be a fast starter and that he had faded at the end of last season and also this season. I think he just wants to fire him up. I think we're going to see Young playing tonight.
Second down and 10. Hostetler, incomplete, a catchable pass. Darrell Miller had it go through his hands on the near side at the 27, so it's 3rd down and 10.
Another ball that was catchable, but that shows it. The weather is definitely a factor tonight. It has been raining hard. I don't know. It seems to be following us around this year. A lot of multiple fronts. I'm telling you. Yesterday was very good for practice. It was a beautiful day here in Florida.
Temperature in the 70s.
Yep.
Still raining. Not quite as hard as it was a few moments ago. On 3rd down and 10 from the 22. Rolling to the right is Hostetler. And his pass is incomplete out to the 34-yard line, intended for Gary Mullen.
Forget that one, though. You got to figure illegal procedure right there at the very beginning.
Flag down to 23. Man who looked like he was moving before the snap was Brad Foytik, number 98. And the march off here. Referee tonight is Robert Aye.
Offside. Defense.
So 3rd down and 5 for West Virginia at the 28-yard line. The extra defensive back comes in for Florida State. It's Gary Henry. And with Mullen in motion, Hostetler on a straight drop. Gets protected and throws into traffic and incomplete at the 35. Mark Rao was sandwiched. The Mountaineer fans want an interference call and won't get it. Ken Rowe was the man who covered and hit him. And it's 4th down and 5.
Mark Rao, you pointed out during the year, was double covered a lot after the great season he had last year. Tonight, he has been the primary target on most of the Mountaineer passes. He had a great season last year, though. 61 during the regular season and then 3 more in the Peach Bowl for a total of 64.
Superick has to short hop it, and the kick is partially blocked. He gets a somewhat decent bounce out of it, and it rolls out of bounds at the 38-yard line. David Ponder was the man responsible for making contact with a football. So interestingly, the one area in which West Virginia figured to have a huge advantage was the kicking game. They have had a field goal fully blocked and a punt partially blocked, and Florida State has good field position at the West Virginia 38-yard line. 8:16 remaining in the first period. Another look at the block.
David Ponder, number 85, the nose guard, coming in there and gets a great block.
They sent 4 men in. 8:16 to go. First quarter at Jacksonville. 0-0. Florida's largest city, Jacksonville. 80,000 looking on at the Gator Bowl. No score first period. And Florida State from the West Virginia 38. It's Greg Allen making the catch and getting to the 22 for a first down. Allen and Williams, the tailback tandem, throughout the season have been alternating. On that play, they were both in the backfield at the same time.
There it is. You see it perfectly right there. There's Williams on the left. Allen is on the right. They both run circle delays. There comes Allen down the field. As you pointed out in our pregame show, Al, he's a man who can hurt you a lot of different ways. A great all-purpose back. That time making a leaping catch coming out on the circle route.
Allen goes out. Burnett comes in at fullback, and on first down, lofted toward the end zone, incomplete. Intended for Hassan Jones. It was Steve Newberry, the cornerback, a junior from Peterstown, West Virginia, covering on the play. It'll be 2nd and 10 at the 23.
This is a pure timing pass to Hassan Jones, the wide receiver on the left. It's 1, 2, 3. Throw the ball up. It's a fade route. Steve Newberry, number 28, has perfect coverage right there, so it's really a toss-up in the end zone. No score.
Hester split wide to the left on 2nd down. Trying to set up the screen. He has nothing to his left, does Williams, and then he throws the ball into the ground, and there is no flag as yet. Blair Williams just trying to dump it, and West Virginia all over the officials contending it should be grounding, but there's no flag.
Well, they have reason to be on the officials for that one. To me, that was a purpose. He purposely throws this ball away. He doesn't even try to act this one out.
Now we have a flag that was just thrown.
Straight drop back action. It looks like he's setting up the double screen. Now he finds himself in a scramble situation. He's off to the right, and that, if I have ever seen it, Al, is intentional ground.
Well, I just mentioned there was a flag that was thrown fully 10 to 15 seconds after the play. Here's the call.
Ineligible, downfield, offense.
Interesting. It had nothing to do with grounding, but they're penalized anyway.
Well, that's an interesting, it's an obvious call, because usually in double screen situations where you wind up scrambling, you do have ineligible men downfield. Now, had the ball been thrown to a man behind the neutral zone, it would have been a legal play.
Ineligible receiver downfield. 3rd down, loss of down.
And loss of down.
It is 3rd down and 15. West Virginia with Campbell, O'Black, and Harris up front. Talley will be all over the place. He's the man to watch. 90 Folks is also a good one. And Agee will hit you, number 44 in the secondary. 3rd down, 15 from the 28-yard line, as Williams has Allen open and he drops the ball. Greg Allen down the sideline had gotten open. Agee came over to cover on the play, and he couldn't hold on. So it's been a quarter of missed opportunities, very much for both squads.
Allen again, they've got that split back set up. Allen, instead of circling this time, runs a deep swing route coming out of the backfield, and momentarily he looks like he has a touchdown. Well, as the saying goes, he hit him in a bad place. Williams now 2 of 6 in the passing department for 24 yards. Here comes the field goal.
And the snap goes through the hands of the holder, Lowry. Lowry will throw, and that's incomplete. So the field is really taking its toll. Both teams' kicking games have been in tatters. This time the snap was high. Lowry couldn't get it down. It would have been a 45-yard field goal attempt. And instead, West Virginia gets it.
He tried to throw the ball to fullback Manny Caballo. That's a gadget play that was unrehearsed.
They still would have had to pick up a lot of ground to get to first. Here it is again.
Look at the snap. It's there, like you say, the field really showing it. The snap was a little high. Lowry misses it. Now watch this. You talk about improvisation. Manny Caballo, that's a catchable ball too.
one advantage to having the holder play quarterback. In addition, Lowry
can always throw for you if he gets in trouble.
Used to throwing it from the 28-yard line on first down. It's Hostetler after faking twice, throwing, and it's intercepted at the 47-yard line by Brian McCrary. He's inside the 40 and dropped at the 33-yard line. Brian McCrary, a sophomore from Germantown, Tennessee, had 2 interceptions this season against South Carolina, had 4 in the regular season.
Play action fake right here. He fakes the misdirection play, rolls to his left. He's looking for Rao on a crossing pattern. Now McCrary, number 43, steps right in there, 5'11", 170. He's right where he should be. Makes a good little juke step there, goes to the outside, back to the inside. Finally knocked down right there by Wayne Brown, number 19.
First down for the Seminoles from the 33-yard line. On the delay, a play they love to use, that's Ricky Williams getting to the 29-yard line. Gains 4, second down and 6. There's McCrary, the man who made the interception, setting his teammates up in good shape, but neither team able to capitalize thus far with under 7 minutes to play in the first period and no score.
Florida State thus far having better field position. Usually you figure that West Virginia is the field position team. That's what they like to play. They stress defense and the kicking game, as you said at the top.
Second down and 6 from the 29-yard line. To the left side, and it's complete to Dennis McKinnon. McKinnon gets inside the 20, and that's a Seminole first down at the 19-yard line.
Dennis McKinnon, one of 5 wide receivers that they run in and out. They're really pretty much interchangeable. They bring the plays in from Coach Bobby Bowden along the sideline. There you see his numbers. Bowden, an old quarterback himself, playing at Sanford College. Ben Howard, I guess.
In Birmingham.
Back in the 50s.
And he eventually became the head coach there.
Yep.
First down from the 18-yard line. Williams, no gain or a minimal gain at best. It'll be second down, 10. Reggie Armstead came up to make the stop. Don Nealon and Bobby Bowden were pretty much in agreement that if it rained tonight, it would help West Virginia more than Florida State. What do you think, Lee?
I don't know that they were really in agreement on that. Bobby Bowden was the one that said it. He said the only weather that would help Florida State would be heat.
They don't have that tonight. Second down and 10. And the pass is juggled and then caught by Orson Mobley, the tight end, at the 13-yard line. He was hit by the linebacker, Dave Preston, and he gains about 5.
This is a good example of hand-eye coordination here because first of all, there's a fake screen out to the right. Mobley misses the ball momentarily, but then, even though being hit, is able to come back and get the ball right there. Now, this guy is big. He's 6'6", 250 pounds. He's a baseball player. How do you find a uniform big enough to fit that guy?
Third down and 5 out of the shotgun. Williams scanning his receivers and throws for a first down to the 3-yard line. Florida State, as Lee mentioned, working out of the shotgun for the first time this year. Hassan Jones on the receiving end, first and goal.
Hassan Jones running a simple curl-in route right here behind the linebacker. This is a real bullet pass, and you talk about hitting on the top part of the numbers. That was right there. Dennis Folks, the inside linebacker, number 50, who along with Talley have formed a tremendous tandem of linebackers throughout the year for the Mountaineers.
First and goal. This is where they love to give the ball to Greg Allen. They pitch it to him. He's looking for the end zone, but he doesn't quite get there. He gets to the 1. He is stopped by Anthony Daniels at second down and 1 with 4.5 minutes to go in the period.
You're exactly right. That's what he likes to do, get the ball to Allen, and that is his favorite play, is the power pitch. He says that he likes to go wide and then look for the seam or the crease, and he is a cutback runner. That is where he has been most effective and gotten most of nearly 800 yards during the year.
21 touchdowns for Allen, including 20 on the ground. So from inside the 1, they pitch it to him. He goes to the left side, and he cannot spring loose. He is bunched up at the 2. Steve Hathaway was the man who got there first.
Steve Hathaway the way, the counterpart of Darrell Talley. He doesn't get the pub like Talley, but this guy has been busy. Watch this, how he hangs on right there. Even though Greg Allen is battling, he holds on. Tim Agee comes up and puts on the finishing touches. Agee, as you mentioned, is a guy who will hit you. He's one of the most aggressive players on their team.
One of the Mountaineers is shaken up, so Williams comes over to the sideline. The man who's injured is Todd Campbell. No score, first period. Assistants, Todd Campbell, defensive lineman, senior out of New Kensington, Pennsylvania. That would be a very big loss if he's unable to come back tonight. Rich Walters comes in to replace him, as Florida State comes up with a 3rd down and goal from the 3-yard line. First quarter, no score. Johnson is in motion. Williams to throw off the play fake, and it is batted away on a pass intended for Moad. Batted away in the corner of the end zone. I believe it was Newberry who went into the fence, number 28. The fence very, very close to the back of the end zone. Newberry made a tremendous play to save the touchdown, and he gets up and he's all right. He just saved 6.
Steve Newberry really puts his body on the line here. Play action fake. Mo at the tight end on a crossing pattern, appears open there momentarily. Great effort.
Philip Hall is back in to do the kicking after Rendina had attempted 2, and Hall kicks it through. So they settle for 3, getting the field goal. It was spotted at the 10. A 20-yard attempt is good. And with 3 minutes and 30 seconds remaining in the first period, Florida State is on top by a score of 3-0. So the kicking game has indeed made a difference to this point, but it's been just the opposite of what you might expect.
Everything is pretty much opposite of what was forecast. Florida State, the team who's being the field position team, and they're now ahead with the kicking game.
3-0 on the field goal by Hall. Well, we don't have to tell you, in 48 hours, New Year's night, the Sugar Bowl, Georgia ranked number 1. Penn State ranked number 2. 8 o'clock Eastern, 7 Central, 5 o'clock on the coast. National championship at stake. Herschel Walker and company. Joe Paterno looking for his first national championship. New Year's night on ABC, the Sugar Bowl.
Let the big dog eat.
Here's Rendina to kick off after Hall had kicked the field goal. Gary Mullen takes it from the 1 to the 10, 15, 20. Mullen with some room down the side and gets out to close to the 35-yard line. Brian McCrary making the stop. Mountaineers will take over at the 33-yard line. Seems like half the state of West Virginia is down here. They brought about 16,000 folks with them.
They've been making some noise in our hotel, I'll tell you that.
All over town. Enjoying themselves. It's the first time in the 90-year history of Mountaineer football that the team has gone to back-to-back bowl games. Last year, they went to the Peach Bowl and upset Florida. Wolfley and Beck are the running backs in this set, and Wolfley gets the call. He takes it to the 37. Ron Wolfley is a sophomore from Orchard Park, New York. His brother Craig is an offensive tackle for the Pittsburgh Steelers. Craig played at Syracuse.
We attended the Gator Bowl banquet last night, and as you mentioned, these teams have never played before. But based on what we saw last night, I have the feeling that this might be the beginning of a very intense rivalry between the two schools.
Well, word has it they're trying to wind up on each other's schedules in the near future.
Yep.
Nothing official yet. 2nd down and 5 from the 38-yard line, and it's Wolfley. Moving forward out to the 46, John McLean making the stop. 2:40 to go in the first quarter.
Wolfley, a sophomore, 215. You mentioned this. Their backfield, by comparison with, say, a Florida State or some of the really publicized backs in the country, pretty much nondescript. But they have about 5 backs who are pretty much interchangeable and good nuts and bolts runners.
Don Nealon, 3rd year at Morgantown. His team with a first down, 46-yard line, and again through the middle it is Wolfley. Turning for 4. This is an important part, obviously, of West Virginia's attack tonight, especially on this type of field. They've got to be able to churn up some yardage. pick up some ground on the ground.
They want to establish the run. As I mentioned, Don Nehlen's priorities basically are the kicking game. That sets the tempo. Defense, the running game, and the passing game less with an accent on high percentage passes.
Second down, 6 from the 50. The tailback, Curlin Beck, gets a yard, maybe 2. Beck was the only back for the Mountaineers this season to rush for over 100 yards in one game. He went for 102 against East Carolina. It's third down and 5 from just inside the 49-yard line.
Hostetler's favorite target so far in these passing situations has been his tight end, Mark Rowell. Let's see if he goes upstairs again.
Hostetler has attempted 6 passes, and in 4 instances he's been looking for Rowell. West Virginia has just taken a timeout with the third down and 5 coming up from the 49-yard line. 1 minute and 9 seconds remaining in the first quarter.
Bobby Bowden, Don Nehlen, both former quarterbacks. Now, Don Nehlen was a split-T quarterback at Bowling Green. His senior year of football was the same as mine, 1958. He has been very influenced through the years by Bo Schembechler. Bo was the line coach at Bowling Green back in 1956. Later, he worked under Bo at Michigan, and his philosophy is very much like that of Bo Schembechler.
Nehlen was the head coach at Bowling Green for 9 years. Don was telling us yesterday, he said, you know, I had a lot of success up there, but every New Year's Day, I'd sit at home and I'd watch all of the big bowls on television. And finally I said, hey, look, somewhere down the line, I've got to look for a major college job. So he went with Schembechler as an assistant, then got the chance to go to West Virginia. Well, he's not quite to New Year's Day yet, but he's close.
Of course, this year, Bowling Green went to the California Bowl.
That's right, at Fresno. And Bobby Bowden, who took his team to the Orange Bowl in both 1980 and 81. Third down, 5. West Virginia from the 49-yard line. Hostetler slipping as he begins the roll, but looking for the first down and getting it, and he gets crushed at the 40-yard line, but he's picked up the first. Rowan McLean made the stop, and Hostetler, as Lee mentioned, can run.
That's why they're very excited about this young man, Jeff Hostetler. He's 6'3", 212 pounds. He has 4.7 speed in the 40-yard dash, which is certainly more than adequate. He works out. He bench presses about 380 pounds, so he's big, he's strong, he's quick, he's pretty mobile. He can throw on the move if he has to. He really has shown that he can pretty much do all the things that a quarterback has to do, along with coming up with the big plays.
On first down from the 39-yard line, it's Beck through the middle. He gets to the 35. You saw the figures for the quarterback Hostetler rushing and his average of just 1.2, but oftentimes those numbers can be very deceiving because they include the times you're sacked.
The numbers are misleading because of the sacks. Actually, if you took those sacks away, he would have a very respectable rushing average. He had 4 touchdowns on the year, and his longest run for a touchdown was 24 yards, which is pretty good.
The clock is running with 10 seconds to play in the period. It is second down and 5 from the 35. And they do get the playoff before time expires, and Beck gets nowhere. Half a yard, maybe 1. Gets to the 34. It'll be third down and 5. Young and Ponder in on the stop, and time has run out. According to the scoreboard clock, it has run out. The referee signaled that the ball was ready for play, and then all of a sudden the clock operator said, hold it. And he does. So the first period is gone. We played 15 at Jacksonville before 80,000 at the Gator Bowl. Florida State 3 and West Virginia nothing. West Virginia nothing at the Gator Bowl. Al Michaels with Lee Groscup as we start the second quarter. West Virginia third down and 6 at the Florida State 35-yard line. The freshman Gray takes the ball to the 32. Ken Rowe, the linebacker, number 38, making the tackle. So it will be fourth down and 3. Now here's a situation where oftentimes you would see Woodside, their field goal kicker, coming in for sure, even though it would be a 49-yard attempt. The field is wet, and after some hesitation, they will still apparently send in the field goal unit. No, they're going to go with a punting unit. It's Superick instead. So again, here's where the field is playing a part in tonight's game. Instead of going for the field goal perhaps on a dry surface, they'll try to pin him deep with a punt. Florida State, meanwhile, does not send anybody back deep. And in fact, they take a timeout. Apparently, they did not have the right amount of people on the field. The only reason I can think of in a situation like this to take a timeout. And meanwhile, with Florida State taking the timeout, Nealon has just changed his mind, and Woodside comes in to attempt the field goal.
This has been a strange night.
Oh, very.
Oh, boy.
The longest field goal this season for Woodside was a 45-yarder against Syracuse. He was 5 of 8, as you can see, from 40 and beyond. NCAA record, 28 field goals in 31 attempts. Some of you saw that Pitt game in October. He just missed on a 52-yarder at the end that would have tied the game. They'll spot it at the 38. So it's a 48-yard attempt. AG spots it down, and the kick is long enough, and it is good.
It's there. Got legs. Oh, boy.
So go figure that. West Virginia sends in the punting unit. Florida State takes a timeout. Nealon says, no, I'll go for 3 instead, and he cashes in.
Reverse strategy. This is perfect form right here. You see that he really gets the leg into it. The timing is there. The hold is down. The laces toward the goalpost, and he roots it right up to the shoot.
14-14 to go in the half. Tied 3-3. Who just kicked that field goal twice this season. He's kicked 4 in a game. 4 times he's kicked either 2 or 3 in a game, putting it in the air here. It's Billy Allen from the 5 to the 10, 15. Allen cutting back out to the 25 and trying to turn the corner. Allen gets to the 40. He's into West Virginia territory. He gets by Woodside, and Allen goes all the way. Billy Allen for the touchdown. Who is the oldest player on the team. He was in the Air Force, then went to school. Back to receive at the 5-yard line, takes it 95, and Florida State leads it 9-3.
This is a planned play. Remember, this is return middle. Now what Allen does right there is make a cut to his right. Now watch this. He cuts back to the outside. He's a big guy, 6 foot, 202 pounds from Cleveland, Ohio, just a sophomore. As Al told you in the Air Force, 95 yards on that return.
And the kick by Hall is good with 13:54 to go in the first half. So there he is, Billy Allen, just a sophomore from Cleveland, Ohio. He's 24 years old. Returned to kickoff last year, 97 yards against LSU.
Look at this, you see him. He's to the left side of the field. He comes straight up, and now here's the big move right here, the cut. He gets away from Newberry, number 28. There's the foot race right there, and you can see who's winning it. The last man, the kicker, has a shot at him. He passes him by. He passes by number 59, Scott Dixon, and then it's a foot race into the end zone for that 95-yard return. Is that a Gator Bowl record? We better get into the book.
10-3, Florida State on top. Early in the second quarter, it is indeed a Gator Bowl record. Longest run back. So Billy Allen, who is no relation to Greg, gives Florida State the lead by 7. Allen played service ball in Europe. He was in the Air Force, and it was there. Bobby Bowden was speaking at a clinic in 1980 when Allen caught his eye. The kick in the direction of Drury goes out of bounds, so they'll do it again. Will Rendina from the 35-yard line. So it's been Rendina and Hall alternating as the place kickers. Rendina was highly recruited. Kicked last year for Florida State, but he was hurt, had a hip injury. They had to go to a walk-on. Hall Hall didn't relinquish his job until tonight when Rendina came in for a couple of kicks, and then they finally went back with Hall. Now they're going to let Rendina kick off.
The previous record for longest kickoff return was held by Billy Hare of Clemson against Miami. That goes back to January 1st, 1952. That was 70 yards.
Long time for that type of a mark to stand. 30 years. So from the 35-yard line, Rendina kicking down to Drury at the 9, out to the 20, and tripped up at the 27-yard line. Kim Mack making the stop. Still raining here in Jacksonville, and Ann Simon is working the sidelines tonight. Ann, what are the conditions down there right now?
Well, look at my outfit. You can see from this. Normally I work the sidelines in my yellow ABC jacket. Tonight I have to do it in my orange ABC poncho. So you can see it's raining cats and dogs today. And the water on the sidelines is at least an inch deep in places, sometimes 2 and 3 inches. It's tough out here, but the field is slick. But we're having a good time. Back up to you, Al.
All right, we'll try to stay dry anyway. Forecast said intermittent showers. It's been rather steady to this point from the 28-yard line. First man through is Walzak, the fullback, and Walzak takes it all the way out to the 40-yard line on the first down as he picks up about 13.
Walzak had good daylight there, but there again, the lack of a breakaway threat is one of the things that the Mountaineers have missed. You touched on it earlier. They have a lot of running backs who are good, tough, durable runners, but no real breakaway threat, no game breaker.
West Virginia 1st and 10 from the 41-yard line. Florida State leading 10-3 early in the second quarter. Hostetler handing it off to Walzak. Gets a couple. It'll be second down, 8. Coming up at halftime, our Fireman's Fund flashback, a look at Bear Bryant's retirement. Ann Simon was in Memphis last night, interviewed Coach Bryant as he wrapped up his career with a victory over Illinois in the Liberty Bowl, win number 323. We'll feature it at halftime. Bobby Bowden well behind the Bear, but a pretty good mark on his own. He's won 131 in his career. Watching his team on defense, second down and 7. From the 44, they pitch it to Gray. The freshman looks for some room inside and finds nothing at all. Alfonso Carricker was the first man with contact. It'll be third down and 7 at the 44.
Again, we come up to an obvious third and passing situation. And so far tonight, Jeff Hostetler has been looking consistently toward his tight end, Mark Rao. His big play man, of course, during the year has been his wide receiver, number 88, Rich Hollins, who has better than 27 yards per catch.
Third down, a long 6, closer to 7 from the 44-yard line as Hostetler drops back, steps up, looking for the first down, picks it up, and with a nice move, gets all the way to the Seminole 42-yard line where he is stopped by Harvey Clayton.
This is what Hostetler does so well. Now watch this. He shows a little escape dimension right here. And now he sees that he can pick up the first down yardage with a good cut. He cuts back across the grain. That is what we call north and south running. There was nothing east and west about that move. He simply saw that he had a certain number of yards to get for the first down. He went for it, protected himself. There it is. That kind of reflects it right there. 2 rushes, 24 yards.
Were it not for the strong arm, he might be the best tailback they have on the squad. What was it Don Nealon told us yesterday? He said his fastest back would be Talley if Talley were a tailback. That is how quick he is at linebacker. And why the pro scouts are drooling over him.
He has 4.5 speed, 4.55, and he weighs 225 pounds. He's really out of the mold, as I said at the very top of the show, kind of another Hugh Green, Lawrence Taylor type player. And the NFL scouts think that he might be the very first linebacker that is taken this year in the pro draft.
And yet tonight, Florida State has basically been running away from him.
Yep.
He has not been in on the action. From the 42-yard line on first down, it is Mickey Walzak getting 2. David Ponder in the middle, number 85, making the stop. It'll be second down and 8 at the 40. 11:09 to go in the half.
Excuse me. Ponder is a guy who is really playing out of position. He wound up at that nose guard position when someone was hurt earlier in the year, and he has just stayed there. But basically, they had thought of him more as a tackle. But he's a good athlete, 6'3", 250 pounds, a junior, and he's been busy tonight.
He's picked up 50 pounds since his freshman year. Second down and 10. Seminoles nearly jump offside, but get back in time. And it's Walzak for a yard or so. Nothing special, just moving through the middle. And it's third down and 7.
But this is the kind of drive that the Mountaineers want to establish. We talked to Don Nealon yesterday, and we asked him, what's the key? What's the key to stopping Florida State? He said, we've got to keep Florida State's offense on the bench. And those are the stats. Those are the kind of numbers he likes. He would like to control the football on the ground. And when he does pass, he would like to come out of play action and throw the high percentage passes first. If you're going to throw deep, throw that later.
On third down and 7, Hollins is split to the left and Brown to the right. And we have a flag before the snap.
Usually means too much time.
Clock is down to 0. The 30-second clock, and that is indeed the call. So the delay costs them 5, moves them back to the 44-yard line after they march it off, and it will be third down and 12. Florida State leading it 10-3.
Delay, 25-second count. Offense.
I think I said 30 seconds earlier. NFL 30 seconds. In college you get 25.
Well, you better make up your mind a little faster.
Yep.
Well, he's going to be a possible Rhodes Scholar. He can do it.
That's right.
And he's off.
Third down and 12 from the 44-yard line. After 2 fakes, it's Hostetler rolling and throwing again for Rao and incomplete. Hostetler took a shot but gets helped up. Ran that play before without much success. Taking the misdirection. Wojtek was the man who nailed him. And now they're out of field goal range on 4th down. Hostetler is just 2 out of 8 thus far for 28 yards. So Nealon has been able to establish that ground game that he wanted. The tremendous difference in rushing yardage. But Hostetler doing nothing through the air, and the kicking game has not done its job in particularly stellar fashion.
Pretty nondescript. Yep.
Super X kick. That one was nearly blocked, but he gets it away. And it's fielded at the 12-yard line by Cedric Jones. Down at the 13. We also have a penalty flag down. Marker down at the 45-yard line. Tommy Young came flying in that time. Young nearly blocking the kick, and it could very well be running into the kicker. So that could change the complexion. Florida State is indicating we'll have an offside call.
Offside, defense, decline.
Okay. No running into the kicker. 36-yard punt. It stands. It's declined. Have another look now.
Let's watch Tommy Young running through here. He's coming right up the chute, and he nearly blocks that ball. If he had been a little bit more to his left, he would have been there.
9:13 to go in the first half. Seminoles leading 10-3 with 9:13 to go in the first half. And on first down from the 13-yard line through the middle, Ricky Williams, number 44. Gain of about 3. Bobby Bowden likes to replace whole units, and he has done so here. He has taken out what would normally be his first unit offensive line and replaced the 5 men up front, the 5 interior linemen, with a second unit.
The entire offensive line comes out. They have young offensive linemen for the most part.
Second down, 7 from the 16. Short drop by Williams. Throws to Johnson, who makes the catch at the 21-yard line. Shy of a first down by 2. And a marker is down at the 18-yard line. Got a holding call against Florida State. So the options are being discussed. The pass gained about 4 yards. So West Virginia's option is, do you want Florida State to have it 3rd down and 3, or 2nd down, and it would depend where it is marched off from. It would be 2nd down and about 14. We're going to take the penalty.
Yeah, I like that 2nd and 14 sound a little better.
Yep, a whole lot better. Move it back to the 9, and that's what it'll be. It'll be about 2nd down and 14 from the 9-yard line.
However, that is not something that scares the Seminoles. They are a team who will put the ball up from most any place on the field. They believe very strongly in their passing game, and they don't look at it as something that is dangerous. They feel that they can control the football with high percentage passes, or they'll stretch it vertically and go for the whole load.
2nd down, 14 from the 9. Dropping back into his end zone is Williams, and throws out to the 15-yard line to Mobley, and Mobley is run out of bounds at about the 21. Dennis Folks covering on the play. They did not pick up the 1st down, but he's only about 2 yards shy.
Orson Mobley and Zeke Moat, the 2 tight ends, run plays in and out along with the wide receivers. They really have about 7 guys that they will scatter the ball around to among the immediate receivers, and then they also throw to their backs.
3rd down and a short 2. They come up in the power I and run a play out of this formation for the first time in the game, and they will throw, and it's incomplete at the 26-yard line, intended for Cedric Jones. So they came up in a formation in which you normally run and run to the strong side, and instead they roll to the weak side, and Jones can't hold on.
That's a very catchable ball, but frankly, Williams should have thrown that ball with a little bit more touch. He had his man out in the flat, clearly ahead of the linebacker or cornerback, and all he had to do was lob it out there, really. He drilled it when he should have touched it.
Brian Harlow is a freshman from Brandon, Florida. His first punt of the night. It is a wobbly kick that will bounce near midfield. It takes a good Florida State bounce and then just dies on the wet grass at the 39-yard line. So near midfield, it will be the Mountaineers with the ball. A 40-yard kick, not very artistic, but a decent kick distance-wise. 7:56 to go, 2nd period. Seminoles lead 10-3.
39-yard kick.
On network television. How about that?
Oh my God.
Little nourishment on the sideline.
Well,
for the
nutrition is important, yeah.
They've had a little bit more to cheer about tonight than their counterparts, as Florida State leads at 10-3 about halfway through the 2nd quarter. West Virginia starts this drive from the 39-yard line. 1st and 10. A fumble by Wolfley, and it looks like Hostetler was able to recover. He did. So he didn't leave the scene, and it was fortunate for West Virginia. Loss of 3.
However, that wastes a down, and now they come up in an obvious pass situation, and this is a very important time for them right now. They're trailing 10-3 in the football game, and they want to get something established. They really haven't had a drive with any great continuity as yet.
2nd down, call it 12 from the 37. Fake the draw. Good protection, then it's deflected and intercepted at the 50-yard line. Juggled by McCrary, and he comes down with the ball, and that's his 2nd interception tonight. Brian McCrary on a pass intended for Gary Mullen. So McCrary, who picked off 4 in Florida State's 11 games during the regular season, has a pair in the first half.
He fakes the sprint draw. Hostetler sets up behind his tackle. Now what happens is his receiver falls down right there. However, he threw the ball, he forced it right into zone coverage, and Brian McCrary, number 43, is there to pick off his 2nd ball of the night.
And Hostetler is just 2 out of 9 in an inauspicious first half with 2 intercepted. First down, set up the screen at the 49-yard line, and it's dropped by Allen. He would have been buried anyway. Fortuitous situation, I think, for Florida State in that he had nobody out there to protect them. Here's Talley now. We have him isolated, number 90.
Darryl Talley, who we've talked about throughout the telecast, this is the first chance to look at him really up close. You see the quickness and his ability to lose blockers. And once again, his numbers, he's 6'4", 225, and he has 4.55 speed in the 40-yard dash.
Out of the shotgun on 2nd down and 10. Williams looking right, left, and then throwing over the middle and incomplete and knocked down at the 42-yard line. It was Talley covering Allen on the play.
We asked Darryl Talley yesterday what he likes best about playing football. He said simply, contact. The man will hit you. There he is right there. Takes the little bump right there and then goes for the football.
They like to move him around on
Yeah,
defense.
they move him around. It's a lot like Hugh Green, Lawrence Taylor, Billy Ray Smith at Arkansas is another example.
Shotgun again, 3rd down and 10, and that one is knocked down by Talley. So after a relatively quiet first quarter, and we've mentioned they've been running away from him a lot, all of a sudden he figures in 3 successive plays.
After being shut out 3 times in a row, we see Darryl Talley. Tally ho!
As they like to say in West Virginia.
That's what they do. He says that the fans really get pumped up. They say tally ho, and they really root for this big guy. And I think he's got a bright future in the National Football League.
Harlow's second punt. This one is a spinner that hits a Florida State man who made contact with it at the 12-yard line and bounces into the end zone for a touchback. So it will come out to the 20-yard line. It will be a first down there with 6:41 to go in the first half. 10-3. The Seminoles on top. Rained off and on all day. Right now, it has lightened up, though, considerably. Just a sprinkle. As the Mountaineers start from the 20-yard line. They're down by 7, 6:41 to go in the half. Hostetler has been very cold. He throws complete to Gray, but for a loss of 2. Now, Hostetler completed his first 2 passes. Then he missed with his next 7. He threw 5 incompletions and 2 interceptions. And here he finally gets a completion, but for a loss of 2 yards.
Used to call that one a confidence builder.
Yeah.
I used the old shovel pass, at the University of Utah, and every time my average would start to go down and I wanted a completion, I'd throw that little shovel pass. It does pump you up to know that you can still complete one.
2nd down, 12 from the 18-yard line. Fake the sprint draw. Hostetler, good mobility, has Gray, and Gray looking for the first down, gets it out past the 30-yard line.
He might have it.
Yep, French Matt.
Might have it.
The linebacker, number 48, made the stop. So 2 straight to Gray, and this one should net the first.
Hostetler, he fakes the sprint draw. He's looking left first. Now he makes a little move to the right. Tommy Gray, the tailback, makes a good move right there, and another good move right there, a little limp leg, and then he dives forward for what appears to be the first down yardage. Yes, it is.
It is. 31-yard line, 1st and 10. Clock running with 5:25 to go in the half. Florida State leading West Virginia 10-3. 1st and 10 from the 31. Rouse sets up on the left side. They give it to Gray through the middle. Out to the 36-yard line, a gain of 5 for the freshman from Somerville, New Jersey. Gray made his first start about midseason against Boston College. After they've been going for the most part with Curlin Beck at tailback. Beck has played sparingly tonight. As you can see right there, West Virginia with double the Florida State total in terms of yardage, but down by a touchdown. On 2nd and 5, through the middle, Wolfley, the fullback, and he looks to have a first down at the 42-yard line. They'll line it up and check it out.
Turnovers have hurt the Mountaineers, along with big defensive plays by Florida State. Pretty much the reversal of what we thought would happen.
It is a first down. The chain gang is coming out, and the official now signaling, no, I can see it myself. So he sends the guys back. And it's 1st and 10 from the 42-yard line.
Important drive once again right now for the Mountaineers, because they would like to put something on the board before halftime as the clock ticks down. With
Wayne Brown in motion. Hostetler goes to the tight end, Rao, who gets into Florida State territory. He is knocked down at the 48-yard line, and he is close to a first down. It's about a 10-yard gain. Milligan 19 and Matt 48 making the tackle. They spotted at the 49. He is shy by 1, 2nd and 1.
Mark Rao, his numbers for this season, but he is the career reception leader for them with 119 career catches coming into tonight's game. Good for a tight end.
On 2nd and 1, it is Gray trying to get that yard. Stopped near the 48-yard line by Foytik and Rowe. And the clock still running down to 3:18 to go in the period. The timeout is taken here by West Virginia. It'll be 3rd down and 1 upcoming at the 49-yard line. So the Mountaineers, for the most part, have done pretty much what Neyland wanted. He wanted to establish the running game. They played very well on defense. Let's face it, the difference in the game right now is the run back by Allen. So it was a special teams breakdown, and yet his team trails by 7 points.
Special teams and the turnover factor really have made the difference thus far, but in terms of the running game, they have dominated.
Sugar Bowl coming up. Georgia ranked number 1 in just about every poll, and Penn State ranked number 2 in just about every poll. Todd Blackledge, Kurt Warner and company against Herschel Walker. Vince Dooley, no stranger to a national championship, against Joe Paterno, who has never won a national championship. In the Sugar Bowl, beginning at 8 Eastern time, Saturday night.
All the elements. The pot is boiling.
What do you like in that game?
That might be the definitive tailback matchup right now in the history of NCAA football. I don't know that I can ever think of a better one.
What do you like in that game?
Penn State.
Here it's 3rd down and 1 for the Mountaineers at the 48-yard line. And they give it to Wolfley, who picks up the first down as he gets to the 44-yard line. Neyland now sending in the play with Rich Hollins, the wide receiver, number 88. Miller goes out. Ball is at the 44-yard line. 1st and 10, Mountaineers. Hollins split left. Brown spread to the right. Under 3 minutes to go in the half. Hostetler dropping deep. They try to set up the screen, and it is incomplete. The screen to Gray. Gray is shaken up. He was blasted by John McLean, number 86, a junior from Sebring, Florida. This is what you call reading the play.
Reading the screen is exactly right. Now, Hostetler does a good job of setting this up. He looks to his right. McLean is right there to stick Gray. That's how do you do right there.
And Gray is down. The freshman, Tom Gray, taking a lick. Curlin Beck comes in to spell him. Not serious, obviously, as Gray, just shaken up for the moment, trots off. But Beck will spell him on the next play with 2:47 to go in the half. West Virginia has just 1 timeout remaining. 2nd down, 10.
Hostetler is really going to have to throw on most every play now. He might mix in a draw or a screen.
Brown is in motion. Hostetler again looking for Rao, and he's covered. It's incomplete. McCrary, who has intercepted 2 tonight, covering Rao. It'll be 3rd down and 10.
Well, we haven't seen him go to their big play man, Hollins, as yet. However, this is really a possession pass situation. You're looking now more for the curl-in or the sideline to keep the drive going.
Hollins isn't even in at the moment. They have Brown split to the right, and Drury is in, the other wide out, bottom of the screen, number 48. 3rd and 10 from the 44-yard line. Hostetler gets pressure as he throws, looks for Brown, and a flag is thrown, 2 in fact, for interference. Harvey Clayton, number 24, the defensive back, and there was no doubt in the officials' minds as flags were thrown from both angles.
Great drop back action. He's looking for his wide receiver on the right. Brown is right there. Now there is the premature contact by number 24, Harvey Clayton. No argument about that one. There have been so many questionable interference calls in NCAA football in 1982. That one was not among them.
From the 22-yard line on first down, Gray is back in, and he works his way just inside the 20 to the 19 with 2:28, 2:27, and counting down. McCrary making the stop along with Rowe. And it will be second down, about 7. Florida State on top, 10-3. Difference in the game, a 95-yard kickoff return for a touchdown by Billy Allen. On 2nd and 7 from the 19, on the delay, they give it to Gray, and that doesn't fool very many people as Foytek, number 98, makes the initial hit, a gain of about 2. It'll be third down and 5, and we have 1:50 to go in the half. Again, the Mountaineers have one timeout left. Beck comes in at tailback. Gray going out now. Third down, we'll call it 6.
3rd and 6, you got to be thinking pass. Maybe a rollout where Hostetler could utilize his good running ability. Or the sideline.
Going straight back, under pressure as he throws, and incomplete, intended for Rao, and well overthrown. So the drive began very nicely, but Jacks, number 84, puts the pressure on. Garth Jacks, number 84.
That pressure right there is what forces Hostetler to throw the ball high, but really he had enough time to get the ball to his tight end, Mark Rao, who was on a crossing pattern from left to right and was open. Again, we said earlier, sometimes you touch it, sometimes you drill it. That time he should have touched it.
Woodside to attempt a 34-yard field goal. Spotted at the 24. Snap good, hold good, and the kick is good. So Paul Woodside, who kicked 28 to set an NCAA mark during the regular season in the 11 games, has kicked 2 tonight. He's had 1 block. He kicked 2 or more field goals in 10 of the 11 games that West Virginia played. The only game in which he did not kick a field goal was obviously the loss to Penn State, a game in which the Mountaineers were beaten by a score of 24-0. But a game that was closer than that would indicate, and as much as West Virginia picked up more than 400 yards offensively that day, but mistakes killed them. Mistakes have been hurting them tonight, too, to this point, because they have basically been dominating the game from an offensive standpoint, yet they're down by 4, 10, 6.
They're doing the things that they really like to do. They're controlling the ball on the ground, and in the last 2 drives, Hostetler has started to complete some of his high percentage passes.
Woodside to kick off. And Billy Allen will be the man in the middle. Allen running back Woodside's last kickoff, 95 yards. Allen, number 31. He's flanked by Cedric Jones on the near side, and they want nothing to do with Allen here. Covering up the ball at the 26-yard line is Jeff Bowden. That's Bobby's son, number 88, who plays on the special teams for Florida State.
Bobby's got a few kids, doesn't he?
He's got, I believe, 6 children.
6, yeah.
And Mountaineer influence there, too. Bobby, the head coach at West Virginia between 70 and 75. I believe 3 or 4 of his children graduated or are going to school at West Virginia. 1st and 10, Florida State. And a double reverse as Hassan Jones will throw off the double reverse, and it is incomplete. Tony Johnson, the intended receiver. So some trickery and deceit, but it got him nowhere.
You said it at the very top. This is a team, they call it a smorgasbord offense because they'll show you a little bit of everything. Gadget play, pitch out, reverse, now the reverse pass. Hassan Jones, number 3, looking for Johnson. Tony Johnson, number 82, who's probably been the most dependable receiver for the Noles this season.
It'll be second down. 10 from the 26-yard line. Florida State has 2 timeouts remaining. Dave Oblak was shaken up on that last play. Defensive lineman.
He's a good one, too. He's the nose guard who played so effectively in the ball game you and I looked at on videotape earlier in the year against Pittsburgh. He was very good.
Ernie Anderson comes in to replace him on 2nd down and 10 from the 27-yard line. Pitch it to Greg Allen, who gets out past the 35, the 40, and all the way to the 43-yard line goes the sophomore, where Folks and Hathaway converge on the tackle, and the clock momentarily stopped on the 1st down with 55 seconds to play in the half.
Surprise play, but a good gainer by Greg Allen. We talked about it earlier. That's his favorite play. It's the definitive play out of the I formation along with the blast, power pitch, or student body right. We've seen USC run it a million times, and he just finds that seam and goes for it.
On 1st down, Williams off the fake, throwing and incomplete, intended for Tony Johnson. Johnson looked like Tony kept his eye on it to the last moment, but the ball just seemed to float as it reached his hands, and he couldn't hold on with 38 seconds to go in the half.
Well, once again, the footing and the slippery ball has been a factor tonight. Now watch it as he goes up here. His footing does not seem particularly secure, and there, as the ball makes contact with his hands, he is not able to hold on. Tim Agee, of course, is an intimidating factor there in the secondary for the Mountaineers. He has been all year.
Just a tiny bit of mistiming, too. It looked like he jumped just a split second too soon. Allen inside the 30, the 25 gets to the 20, or gets to the 42-yard line. So Allen finding room over the left side, getting into West Virginia territory. 30 seconds remaining in the 1st half. The clock momentarily stopped now for the 1st down, and they will stop it with a timeout to discuss what they want to do in the ensuing half minute.
Greg Allen, as we talked about, is a sophomore with superstar potential. Now, he burst on the scene last season as a freshman, and in a game against West Carolina, he rushed for over 300 yards. He set an individual game record for a freshman, and in that game he got over 400 all-purpose yards, which was another mark for a freshman. So he really came on strong in his freshman year. 322 yards rushing and a total of 417 yards all-purpose in that particular contest.
That was coming after a very impressive starting debut against LSU. Prior to that, in which he had gained more than 200 on the ground. So they're talking about Allen in terms of pumping him up for All-America maybe next year as a junior, and thinking ahead, if he has a good year next year, they'll start pumping him for the Heisman. Rain has just about stopped, but the rain gear still protecting the equipment and the anatomies of most of the 80,000 here.
30 seconds left. They got to put it up. They're in the gun.
From the 43-yard line, Williams escaping from the pressure and then throwing into a lot of traffic and incomplete at the 25-yard line. Intended for Hassan Jones, and a penalty flag is down. Anthony Daniels covering on the play, and let's see about the call. Obviously interference. Is it offense or defense? Against the Mountaineers. That'll move it to the 28.
Pass interference, defense, first down.
Anthony Daniels hitting him. And Florida State is at the 28 with 23 seconds remaining in the half. Again from the shotgun. Williams looking for McKinnon, who leaps and makes the catch for a touchdown. What a play. Blair Williams to Dennis McKinnon, number 6. McKinnon on a depth chart would be listed as 3rd team, but Bowden saying earlier he had 5 receivers, all very good. McKinnon might be number 5, but he's number 1 in Tallahassee at the moment.
Number 1 in your hearts, right there. Dennis McKinnon. Whoa, boy. Great catch.
Florida State moving down the field in a hurry as Phil Hall comes in for the extra point, and that's good. 27-yard touchdown pass and the conversion by Hall. And so with 15 seconds to go, as we look again, it's 17-6.
Out of the shotgun, the snap was a little bit high. Now, this is the timing route. He is just throwing for the corner of the end zone. And look at McKinnon right there leaping and taking the ball away from number 28, Steve Newberry. Another look at him isolated. It's pure timing. He just puts this ball in the air to a spot, and McKinnon coming right here sees that he has to leap in front of Newberry in order to get the ball away from him. And there's the fight for it as they come down. He hangs on. It's a great effort.
McKinnon hasn't caught that many passes over the last 3 years, but he's been on the other end of a lot of big plays, with Blair Williams in particular getting the start tonight.
And that drive, Al Michaels, really typifies the contrast that you talked about at the very top of the show. Florida State, an explosive, big play team featuring wide open football with an accent on the passing game. West Virginia, a team that favors the kicking game and strong defense.
And that has to be particularly deflating to West Virginia, occurring very rapidly just prior to halftime. The squib kick is fielded at the 40-yard line and down there by Rich Rodriguez, a reserve defensive back, and also a penalty marker is down. Seminoles, who were slightly favored coming in,
that was a surprise. Excuse me, that was a surprise to me, because in terms of national ranking and the way they have stacked up defensively, particularly. Let's listen.
First down.
Based on what the numbers tell you, you would think that the Mountaineers would have been a slight favorite, or that it would have been a pick'em game.
Well, West Virginia was 9th in one poll, 10th in the other. Florida State was 20th in one poll and unranked in the other.
Absolutely.
First down for West Virginia from the 40-yard line. That's Mullen, number 1, in motion, and they'll be content to stay on the ground and run out the clock, figuring they're not going to get nearly the yardage necessary with so little time remaining. Tom Gray was the ball carrier, and the first half will expire. Very frustrating half for West Virginia. Meanwhile, a couple of big plays for Florida State. One a run back, the other a 27-yard touchdown catch. And at halftime, Florida State leads West Virginia in the 38th Gator Bowl by a score of 17-6. And there's Ann Simon setting up with Don Nealon. Jacksonville, Florida.